So it's closed barramundi season now up North Queensland. So the other fish I like to chase when I can't chase barra is fingermark. We're chasing inshore fingermark today, and this is one of my favourite spots. It's about 2 or 3 metres of water, and it's all rock bomby and rocky headland. I'm going to show you how to do it. Today I'm flicking hard bodies because I've outlined the outer edge of this reef, and that's really important. A lot of guys come to this particular fishing spot, which is called Mangrove Island. There's Wallaby Island as well. There's Endooma Jetty. There's a few places around Weipa that have got rocky headlands, but anywhere around Australia you'll find them. As long as there's a bit of current pushing in onto that rocky headlands, you'll find fingermark. So I'm using hard bodies that are going to dive down to about 2 metres, which is where the rocks are. Today I'm using the jackal squirrel in the silent, and that's a gold one there. I've got a few different colours, but I'll take you through all the colours. I'll show you what colours I use when. But if I want a real rattle, because all my jackal squirrels are silent, I've got some Lucky Craft pointers. That's a pointer XD. You can see it's the same profile, same type of lure, runs to the same depth, but gets a real rattle in them. But I find the fingermark, they don't really respond to the rattle as well as what, say, coral trout and stuff like that, which I do catch here as well. So it's probably a good idea to put a rattler on so I can take a coral trout home for dinner. But we're chasing fingermark. We're going to get some other species as well. So the technique is simply to either drift that outer edge, where today I'm quite lucky. I've got the wind blowing in the opposite direction to the current, so I'm drifting really slowly, so I don't even have to use my electric motor. And that's a pretty good tip too, because if I haven't got my electric motor running, I've got less noise going on, and that's just going to attract a few more fish. Well, not attract a few more fish, but it's going to spook less fish anyway. So let's get to it, and I'll see if I can get a few finger marks. Come on, up you get. Up you get. Don't get me under there. Oh, don't you. You don't normally pull these guys out when they're this big. They're like a big solid football. So right now I'm in only 2 meters of water, and this lure runs to about 3 meters, so I can fish 2 meters easy enough. But you can see I'm twitching the lure with my rod tip up, because if I drop my rod tip down, it's going to sink down another meter and it'll go to 3 meters. So depending on the depth of the water is depending on how I twitch the rod tip, because I wanted that lure to just dance over the top of those rocks. And another reason why I mark the outside edge of these reefs is because ideally, and I'm not doing it at the moment, and for most of the day I won't be, I would be drifting over rock, but Ideally, I like to sit out on the sandy edge and cast into the rocky edge, because when I pull the fish out of the rocks, I've got no more snags for them to run into. Because one thing that's guaranteed is these lures are 30 bucks each or 35 bucks each, depending on where you buy them from. And I'm going to lose a couple. Come here. Get out of there. Big finger mark. Oh, nice. Come on, come here. So that's what we're talking about. These are inshore finger mark. So that guy, I'll put him on the ruler in a sec, but he'd be well over 50, and they're a really, really nice fish. But as you can see, they're hard work getting out of these shallow reefs, so I'm so happy with that. I'll let him go. So the two lures I chose to use today, the Jackal and the Lucky Craft Pointer, and both are ideal because they suspend. So when I'm twitching those lures on top of those rocks, I pause it for a little while and then twitch it again, and it's not going to float up or anything like that. You're going to get a couple of snags, which is a little bit difficult. So that's why during the video I'll talk about lifting the rod up and holding the rod down to adjust the depth of that lure. That's really, really important. Now the colours of the lures. I use a natural colour with a bit of white and maybe some purple or brown or something like that when the water's a bit murky at the bottom of the tide. But when that water starts to push in and it really clears up, I go for those clearer type lures. So this one here in particular is quite clear with a bit of pink on the back and a pink fluoro eye, and I really, really like that lure when the water's really, really clean. Now if you want to learn a bit more about catching finger mark, check this video out here because I cover surface lures, deep water vibes, soft plastics on gravel patch and stuff like that, so it's got all your bases covered.